Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So in today's episode, what have we got? Two jobs for you to do. So I got to change the brake pads on the Tesla because I'm getting a little bit concerned about them, and I know we did take them out a few weeks ago to check them, but I just feel that they need to be changed, and today's a good day to do it because it's not raining. Because if you've been living in the UK, it feels like it's been raining for the last 40 days and 40 nights. Today we've got a break in the weather, so we're going to take advantage of that and change the pads. And when we change the pads, I'm going to show you a technique that is not unique to the Tesla, but Tesla has a service avenue of how to do that. So it's called brake burnishing. That's when you burn your brakes into the disc, because Teslas don't wear their discs out because they use regenerative braking and they only slightly touch the brakes. And what happens is the brakes get glazed over because they're not really getting used uniformly, so they don't wear very well. So this process allows you to bear, when you change those pads to new pads, and the disc is fine because we're not changing the disc, or rotors if you're in the US. This process is what you use. So I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to get into the service menu, and then we'll get that sorted. Now that's not the only thing we're going to do, because today we're also going to be working on the TTSs, or the TTS. I've only got one, so that's two for the price of one. So on the TTS we are going to clean the inlet valve flaps. So that's those metal flaps that were all carbon up the previous week, and also we are going to clean the injectors. Now I'm still waiting for the turbo kit, but that's fine, or the turbo, the bearing kit, not the bearing kit, the washer kit, so we can put the washers back in. And I've also now ordered an injector refresh kit. So all those things are still to come, but they'll come during the week, and then we'll show you that being installed. But this week we do need to clean the injectors because they are all carboned up. So let's not waste any time. Oh, and we're going to talk about at the end of this video some of the cars that I'm going to be looking for this year in 2023. So let's get on, and first of all deal with the brakes on our Tesla. Right, so we've got two jobs to do today. The first one involves the Tesla, and that's to change the brake pads. So we've got some OEM brake pads that we're going to put on, and hopefully I'm hoping that this will stop the rattle. Now already I've noticed that these pads have got a groove in between, which is very good. So we're going to get our copper grease. When we go and take off the wheels, we get our brake pads fitted, then we move on to our second job. Right, so first thing we're going to do, take the wheel off. Now you've seen me do this before, so this is nothing new to you. Now the reason why I'm changing the brake pads is because this car is suffering from rattling pads, and the pads are wedging themselves in as well, and you can definitely feel it in the brakes. So I'm going to replace the pads. We're not going to replace the spindles because there's plenty of meat on those, because Teslas just do not wear out their brakes because they use regenerative braking. But we will change the pads because they are beginning to rot a little bit. So we'll take them off and we'll compare them to the new ones we've got in the box here. Okay, so discs are out. They came out pretty easy because we've only recently serviced them. Clearly the ones at the bottom, as you can see, they have lost quite a lot of meat actually. I thought they weren't too worn, but they're fairly worn. The new ones you can see have got grooves in them, and they're also have a chamfer, is that the word? Or an angle, let's say that. It's got an angle at the end. This one here is pretty straight, as you can see. And although it does have a bit of meat on there, still quite a bit, these ones have got considerable more, plus they've got a groove in the middle which is going to only aid braking. So we're going to have to push the pistons in. We'll give it a bit of a clean as well because there's a lot of dust in there, and we're also going to need to undo the reservoir so that we can push the pistons in. Fortunately I have my reservoirs available, so we'll just open the front. And we'll just undo this at the top here. There we go. That brake fluid can actually do with a change as well. We'll have to look at the manual, see how we do that. So Yeah, while we're here, we'll just check the fluids, and the fluids all look good. The levels on that haven't changed at all, which is fantastic, so we're not leaking anything, and everything looks good. This car is so easy to service, it really is. Right, okay, let's I'll push the pistons back because you're not going to be able to see that, and then we'll see if we can get the new pads in. There you go, all done, new pads in. They went in very easy actually. Yeah, very easy, just cleaned it up. Here's your old pads. Now we're going to rinse, wash and repeat on the other side. So again, pads are out. These ones were again particularly difficult to get out, but they came out eventually. Pistons have been pushed in, and as you can see, again, we've lost about 5 mil of pad on each. These are smooth, these have got the grooves in, so we'll put these new ones in. We won't show it, me going and showing me putting it back in, because you've seen it before, but as you can see, even though they got plenty of meat, I think they needed to be changed, because down the edge there you can see that it's actually beginning to come away, so they will certainly in need, and I can feel it in the brake pad as well, hence the reason why I thought time to change them. Okay, let's get those back in.
A few inches later.
Okay, all done. You can just see the pad in there, went in really easy, and it's all nice and clean. So let's put the wheel on and take it for a quick test drive. Okay, so we just come back from our test drive. The car is now, the brakes are now ready to go. So there's a procedure that you do when you service your brakes on the Tesla, because don't forget, the discs we haven't changed because they are hardly worn at all. The brake pads wear quicker than the actual discs do. So when you put new brakes in, Tesla have a procedure that you'd follow, and I'll show you exactly how it works. So essentially what we do is we go to service, and then what happened, actually not service, we'll go to software. There you go. So when you get to software, what you do is you hold on to the model number for 8 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and release. You'll get a service menu. So we have to put a access code in. The access code is service, SERVICE, and this is the same on any Tesla. Okay, press OK. That will then bring us into service mode. Click on enable, and then we have our service menu. There's a number of things that we can do and activate here, but don't worry, it's not no secret menu. There's nothing in here that the car doesn't already have, so don't think that you'll be hiding any secret menus or anything. Right, click on OK. Then we've got brake burnishing mode. Click on brake burnishing. We'll enable that, and then what it does here, it brings up this screen here. So what we have to do is we have to complete 10 cycles here. We get the car to 50 miles an hour, then we basically brake and we hold it into that target, and then the car will slow down to 5 miles an hour. Then it will ask you to repeat the process again. You do that 10 times, then your brakes are ready. Then once you're done, you put park to exit, and then you are good to go. And then we just exit service mode and the car is back. As simple as that. So it's a really good procedure to burning your brakes in, or burnishing your brakes as Tesla will call it. So we've now done this. So this job is now completed. The brakes feel much better and the rattling sound has got better. It's still there, but it's much better than it was. So obviously that's the source of the noise. It'd be great if I can get rid of it completely. If anyone knows how, put it in the comments. Right, now back to the TTS and servicing the injectors. All right, so we're in the garage now. So we've got our 4 fins that we need to fix. So these are in the inlet valves. If you remember, we removed them and they are really carboned up. So we're going to clean them all up and get rid of most of that carbon. We've also got our injectors here. So 4 injectors. Now, if you look at the tips on those injectors, you can see that they are pretty much blocked up here. Yeah, they're in a pretty poor state. So we need to clean those up. Yeah, all of them are the same. And I wonder if these blocked valves, I'm not saying that they are blocked, but if you look at the carbon on them, they're all definitely carbon up. And I wonder if that has something to do with why one cylinder was running quite could be running lean. Anyway, refurbing injectors is a simple task but can lead you into trouble if you don't do these properly. Okay, so essentially when you take these injectors out, you've got 2 sets of seals to worry about. So you've got these ones here. So these are the seals that go into the inlet manifold, or not the inlet manifold, they go straight into the combustion chamber. So you've got these little rubber seals here. Once these are removed, you should really change them, and it's not a case of just slipping them off and then putting new ones on. There is a procedure that you have to follow, and we will be following that procedure. You'll see that in the next video. Today's video, all we're going to be doing is cleaning them, and what I've also done is I've ordered a kit, a repair kit for the injectors, and that kit incorporates this plastic grommet here, this plastic seal, which goes onto this metal clip here. So this is all rusty, you can see they're all rusty here. So it replaces these, it replaces this seal down the end here, and then it replaces the 2 seals at the top here. So you've got 1 seal that's on here, and then the other seals are actually in the fuel chamber there. Now we've got one that has it on there as well. You should, if you take the injectors out, you should replace those. If you put them back, it will leak. If it doesn't leak, count yourself fortunate. So the Audi procedure is to actually replace them. So we're going to replace all of those, but before we do that, we're going to clean them up first. So let's see how we get on with that. Okay, so here's our before. As you can see, pretty badly carbon up, and here's our after. It's like night and day, isn't it? So that's 1 done, another 3 to do. So we'll do those offline. I'll show you the results, then we'll go to the injectors.
A few moments later.
Okay, that's them all done, nice and clean. They've come up really well, very pleased with the results. So we can put those in and they are good to go. Very pleased with that. So all 4 of them done. Right, now let's concentrate on the injectors. So on the injectors, we're going to use a different method here because we don't want to damage the end there, but as you can see, that's quite carboned up. So what we'll do is we'll use some carb cleaner, and we'll just spray the end of the nozzle, and then we'll just give it a wipe with the microfiber cloth, and that should be sufficient enough to take that off. We might just let it soak in there for a little bit, and then we'll give it a wipe, and then we'll take a look at the result. Okay, so there you go. Let's just get that focused on that. That is all clean. That's a clean one. I'm gonna hold that one there. Let me show you a dirty one. See that? Clearly a difference, eh? So that's a clean one, and the one on the left is a dirty one. So we'll get that one done, and yeah, that should finish. Now of course that is just a surface. Underneath here there is most likely still going to need some attention, so what we'll probably do is we'll run a couple of wires to open up the injector, and then we'll blow through with the carb cleaner. We'll create a contraption like that, and it will basically just hopefully spurt through any residue that's in there. But I'm sure you agree that looks much better, doesn't it, than what it was. So pretty pleased with that. Right, let's clean the last one up.
A few moments later.
So that's the injectors clean, and the inlet control flaps, they're all nice and clean. So all we need to do now is wait for our little service kit for the injectors to come, and then we can put these back in and we'll do a flow test. And then that's another step further to getting this engine back up and running. As for this here, we've got a new gasket for the inlet manifold. So when you take these off, you should replace them with a new gasket. We have that. And inside here, we've got these little picks. Actually, let me get my pick. Bear with me, people. Do you know what? I should really tidy up the toolbox, shouldn't we? Here we go. So get our little pick here. And we just pick those out, because what you don't want to do, you really don't want to put your new, forget to take these out, because you will have a bad day. They will actually stay in, but what happens is that they cause it to leak because the injectors don't sit in properly. So we get those out. Here we go. That's fine, and we know there's none in there because that's already on the injector. So those are part of the kit that we will be replacing, and in fact you can see why you need to replace it. I think that one's slightly pinched. Don't know if you can see that there, but it's got a slight pinch in it, and that's the reason why when you take them out you should really replace them. So that's what we're going to do. We'll give that a bit of a clean up, then next week we'll put the gasket in, and I'll tell you what, we'll be ready to start assembling this piece here. So we've got a lot on next week, but again, we are one step further to getting this car back on the road and running really well. At least that's the plan anyway. Okay, right, so that's all good. So both jobs done. Hopefully you've learned something there today. Right, so let's talk about cars for 2023. So I've got set in my mind what cars we're going to be looking for 2023. So Eleanor, the S3 is definitely going this year, and I can't believe that I'm actually talking about selling my S3, but needs must. S3 has to go because my wife is not using it to the ability that it should be. I hardly drive it because I'm driving a Tesla around, and we need a new project car that will come into the garage. And that project car for 2023 is a TTRS. Yes, I had mentioned if you're an OG of the channel, you know that I had a list of cars that I wanted. The TTS we've got, the TTRS is coming next, and that's going to grace actually it's not coming next, but it will come after I sell the TTS. We are going to get an electric car for my wife. My wife really wants an electric car. She used to enjoy the Golf, the GTE that I sold and I miss, but I still see almost every day. So she wants a electric car, and an electric car will suit her down to the ground because the kind of mileage that she does is perfect. So that will be the next product that we'll be looking for. And then after that, once we get that in place, it means that we can then sell the S3. And then once that S3 goes, that's when we're going to look for the big guns. So that's when we're going to be looking for the TTRS. So that's the car list that I've got set today. But there might be some surprises on the way. Who knows? You'll just have to stay tuned for that. And while we're talking about staying tuned, don't forget to subscribe if you are a casual viewer. So click on the bell notification down below to notify you that we have a new video out. And if you are a casual viewer, please subscribe. We would appreciate the support for the channel. So let me know what you think of the plans, or if you think I should go another route with another vehicle. Again, look forward to reading that in the comments. In the meantime, we will see you on the next one real soon, this time next week. Have a good one.